Hello everyone, Azure Sapphire here, and welcome back to the HP Media Center PC m7334n Adventure. In the last two parts, we took a look at the hardware, explored what was left behind, and we ran the recovery media and uploaded it to archive.org. And in this part, I'm going to get rid of that Windows XP install and install another operating system. Okay, so I guess what I'm going to do here is delete both of these partitions, create a new partition. I want to make roughly 80 gigabyte partitions for the operating systems I'm going to be installing today, or not just today, but throughout this part of the video. I'm going to format this as NTFS, and I'm going to leave the rest of the disk alone for now. When I get to the rest of the operating systems, that's when we'll partition the rest of the disk. Okay, now we want to boot into the CD-ROM. Yep, one of our operating systems that we're going to be installing in this part of the video is Windows 2000, because what else would I be installing? I mean, yeah, I could just do XP again, but if I really want to be using XP on here, I probably would have just kept the original install for the funny. Okay, I totally read all that. I am the fastest reader in the world. We have a NTFS partition. I'm going to leave the file system intact because Windows 2000 does not have quick formatting, and we would be here forever if we were unconditional formatting through Windows 2000. Now that's what I like to see. Good old Windows 2000. It's being a little slow to load, though, at least for those first few chunks. Okay, my trackpad is working just fine here. I have the PS2 mouse plugged in just in case. Well, first I'm going to change this to the correct format. Okay, Windows 2000 setup is finished, so now we can take out the disk. Just a vanilla disk, by the way. Same one I used in the D630 video. Windows is starting up, and we got a perfectly working trackpad in Windows itself as well. Sure, I'll just roll with Azure Nakano as my username. It's not my first choice, but I'll roll with it. I mean, it's fitting because she's right next to the monitor as well. Now I'm going to plug in my flash drive to the front of the computer. Now which removable disk is which? Because there are so many removable disks, mostly from those card readers. Okay, it's not D. It's probably J. Yeah, it makes sense because it comes after the optical drives. I'm going to copy the drivers for the MS7184 over. I'm also going to go under the modified drivers for Windows 2000 because I'm going to need one of these later. Don't need it now though, but later. I don't think it matters which one of these chipset drivers we start with because there are 4 different ones. Guess the GART driver doesn't want to work. This is Service Pack 4, so it should be up to date enough. Oh, go figure, it probably wants .NET Framework to install Catalyst Control Center. In which I do at least have .NET Framework somewhere around here. It's under software? No, it's probably in the root. Yes, it is. .NET Framework 2.0 Service Pack 2. That should work at least. Okay, I guess Service Pack 2 doesn't want to work. Well, it's Service Pack 1. And if that doesn't work, then I guess I'm going to have to find my 9X software folder. Yeah, there we go. .NET Framework 2.0 for Windows 98. Should work on 2000 in case the Service Pack 1 installer doesn't. No? Okay, the one for... Oh, needs Windows Installer 3.0. Go figure, I didn't copy that over. Okay, so I guess we're going to skip Catalyst Control Center. Just go for the Southbridge driver. Which is probably the one that we want anyway. SM bus, that sounds about right. Ah, there we go. Oh. Okay, at least we don't need DirectX 8 to install the display driver, even though it really wants DirectX 8. I have DirectX 9 sitting around, but I don't want to install that first. Actually, I probably could have gone with either one of those drivers. Those probably would have worked. I think this already has the LAN driver built in. I saw the little icon for that cable is unplugged, which implies that the network driver is at least installed. Okay, looks like we got higher color depth at least. It's only 256 colors, but it's still way better than the Pukey 16. And we got working audio, also unsurprising. Okay, let's change that to 1024 by 768 at 32-bit color. There we go, just like I'd expect, but it's a little off-center because of VGA moment. And yes, I went and updated Internet Explorer off screen. Also installed DirectX 9 and Windows Media Player 9. 1982 megabytes of RAM. AMD Athlon 64X2 dual-core processor, 3800 plus, so Windows 2000 at least picks that up correctly. That's how much RAM it has in kilobytes. DirectX 9.0C. I'm going to extract TZ edit because I want to edit something that's kind of annoying me. Second Sunday of March for when daylight savings time starts, and the first Sunday of November, and that should update the clock dynamically. So we're going from 11:59 p.m. to 12:59 a.m. There we go. Now that's out of the way, but the clock is still out of sync, and I don't exactly feel like punching in the values myself. Well, the unplugged cable icon went away, so now I can install NetTime. Install that as a service. Well, it hasn't jumped the clock yet. Just because it's the quickest web browser that I have access to that should have better SSL support than Internet Explorer, I'm going to install RetroZilla. Okay, so we are at least connected to the internet. But it's still not good enough for us to browse Google. This is still a rather older version of RetroZilla from 2019. Okay, neither the Visual C++ runtimes want to run. Let's see if we can get GPU-Z to run. 054 doesn't want to work on vanilla Windows 2000, but 046 will still work. Could not connect to online server. What do you expect from a 16-year-old version? Okay, so here's the Xpress 200 RS480 GPU, 130 nanometer technology, released on the 8th of November 2004. Subvendor HP, bus interface, PCI. Only SDR memory? That is not true. Pretty sure it's using DDR, like the system memory. There's the GPU clock memory. Don't listen to that 0 megahertz. It's not true. And this was back when they had an MSI giveaway back in 2010. I think I might have caught the Barney virus while I was busy setting things up off screen. Currently I'm doing a mass copy of a couple of games that I want to test on here. Most of these are either DirectX 9 or rather demanding games, so that way I could see how the Xpress 200 integrated graphics holds up. And also, with the new graphics card that I'm going to throw in here later on, I want to see how much of an improvement we get from that. But for now, I'm just going to have to sit here until all this is copied over. And this is going over my network, so 10/100 speeds, yay. Fun things are fun. I spent way too long loading this one OS with a couple of games, so I'm going to turn this off for tonight, and maybe once I'm up again, then I'll start testing these games out, both on the integrated graphics and the dedicated GPU I'll throw in here later. Wow, did it really take you that long to close a network connection? I really need to stop using this hard drive. It's rather old and tired, just like me right now. Yeah, I should too. Alright, I'm back. So I've got a couple games that I want to try out. Big Rigs Over the Road Racing, because funny. Halo, because it might actually be somewhat demanding. Simpsons Hit and Run, same deal, although maybe not really. And Need for Speed Most Wanted. There might be one other game that I installed, but didn't get a shortcut on the desktop for whatever reason. Oh yes, Sonic Heroes. Sonic Adventure DX didn't want to install for some reason. Oh, Sonic Schoolhouse and Serious Sam. Go figure, those didn't have icons made for them. Sonic Schoolhouse is really only for the funny. Oh, and also Lego Island, but that's more so to see if we run into compatibility problems. Okay, so the first one of these games that we're going to try is one of the funny games, Big Rigs. Going to do a custom race. Doesn't really matter which one of these we ride on because they're all broken as hell. Night Ride sounds cool. Did the game just crash on me? Actually, wait, I think I know why the game crashed on me. It's because this is the 1.0 version of Big Rigs, and Night Ride just straight up doesn't exist in this version of the game. There's also no sound to be heard in this version of the game, at least. And yeah, you really can tell that this is integrated graphics. It's not a super smooth frame rate, but I mean, it's about as playable as Big Rigs gets. Although, I want to see. Let's run Fraps 1.9D, because that way I should be able to have a frame counter. Unless I broke the game again. 999 FPS. I don't believe that. Oh yeah, the lighting in this game is terrible. And yeah, 999 FPS. I totally, definitely believe that. I mean, does this look like 999 FPS to you? Yes! You're winner. Because you're always a winner in Big Rigs Over the Road Racing. Yeah, that was why I chose the 1.0 version of Big Rigs. I'm going to leave Fraps 1.9D open because it should be able to get a better counter in other games. Next, let's try the Simpsons Hit and Run. Much, much better game. Okay, let's try to count a frame rate at least. We're getting about 30 or so. This is an FMV, so I don't think it's an in-engine cutscene. There we go. Now we're in-engine. It's looking pretty good so far, but then again, Hit and Run isn't that demanding of a game. Display. We should turn that up to 1024 by 768. I don't think gamma will change anything. Okay, we were dropping to like the 40s in the menu, and the FMVs are 30 FPS. Okay, yeah, we're definitely a bit below 60, but still looking pretty smooth. Yeah, 50.
Well, it's about time.
Okay, and we're more up at like 40 FPS when driving.
I'm driving here. Learn to drive, dumbass. Mistakes were made. I'm not a very good driver. Let's do this thing.
Okay, a little bit of lag in the menus.
Whoa!
Okay, we're hitting about 60. Well, we were hitting 60 for a little bit. .939 area code. Ironic because we're on socket 939 here. Also, 939 is a Puerto Rico area code, so it's official. Springfield is in Puerto Rico, partially. Although I don't remember exactly where 636 is. Aside bus 636, if you know, you know. Let's run over all the rich people.
I am evil Homer. I am evil Homer. Do you do better? Yeah!
I'm done messing around here. But Simpsons Hit and Run, perfectly playable. Maybe not super consistent, but it's at least over 30 FPS pretty much all the time. Next I'm going to try Serious Sam, the first encounter. Except I need to grab the ISO. I need to grab the actual disc that I burned of Serious Sam. I just need to remember which one it is. Okay, at least it was the first disc in my pile, so I can just click play from here. Well, it looks like we're getting rather high FPS at least. Well, that's just because I think we're defaulting to 640 by 480. Yes, we are defaulting to 640 by 480. We can make that 1024 by 768. Let's see, how far can we get with quality? Probably be just fine. This is an older game that uses DirectX 7. ATI Radeon. It doesn't know what Radeon we have because at the time of this game's release, it was just the 7200 and 7000, which were called the Radeon SDR, DDR, and VE at the time. And I think the demo is just playing itself, so we're getting over 30 FPS in the Memphis suburbs. Yeah, that definitely looks like the Memphis suburbs, alright. Okay, looks like we were getting about 30 to 40 FPS there. Mostly within the 30s. It was rather consistent, at least. I think what I want to be doing is going into training mode if I actually want to see how the input goes. Sound isn't working here for some reason, though. I don't get why that is. Oh, it looks like we dropped down to the high 30s, low 40s. Okay, we're in the higher 40s now. Approaching the 50s as we're getting to this area, and 60s even. Certainly respectable for integrated graphics, although you don't really want to be below 60 FPS for a shooter game. Well, that was kind of dumb of me, but it proves our point. We're getting 60 FPS in a good area, but mostly like 30s, 50s, depending on what area we're in. But it's alright, certainly respectable for integrated graphics, but not the most ideal experience. If you turn down resolutions, then you'd definitely be having a better experience than that. And this is 1024 by 768. This is a low resolution for 2006. And here's good old Lego Island. I'm just going to run it with the default settings. The FMV gets a bit under 30 FPS, but that is definitely lower than 30 FPS for the FMV. Yeah, this game is definitely fast enough on this hardware to mess up the turning controls, make them rather annoying. I mean, it's rather expected. It really doesn't take much for the turning controls to get messed up on Lego Island. I mean, you really have to be running it on hardware from like 1998 or so to be getting an optimal experience. And even then, that means a lower frame rate because the turning controls are tied to the frame rate. Yeah, this game on here was not supposed to be a performance test of the Xpress 200. It was really meant to be more of a compatibility test of the hardware. But I didn't even change the software rendering mode, unlike what I had to do on an 8600 GT in Windows XP. This is working just fine with, I think Direct 3D mode, whatever the default is. I don't think I ever heard up to this part in the song. Can you tell how little I played Lego Island? Currently using the mouse controls, which you really got to know how to use in order for it to be a good experience, or not even a good experience, but a better experience than using the arrow keys. I don't ever recall hearing this song. Probably because I don't think I had been to that stretch of... Okay, no, I definitely hadn't been to the cave in Lego Island. I didn't even know that this was a thing. Cat. Yeah. Oh yeah, seems like there's nothing in there. But yes, this is where I wanted to go. Well, it's reflection time. Ah, what a beautiful song. I'm sure it reminds anyone of simpler times, and also how far they've come in life. Oh, Lego Island worked just fine, and that didn't need any software mode or whatever. Yeah, Direct 3D. So it probably works just fine on R300. I think it's GeForce 6 series and later where it starts having problems. Okay, what other games did I install off the disc? Actually, this one's entirely for comedy value. It's the last disc that I have on top of the computer. I have a couple others that are inside the disk storage bay. Now, first things first, we gotta change our color settings to 640 by 480 at 256 colors. Because really old games be like that.
I'm Sonic.
I'm Sonic!
Click on me for help.
Click on me for help!
Unable to initialize sound system? Yeah, expected error. I've had nothing but errors with Sonic Schoolhouse on any hardware I've tried, even going back to Windows 98. I think the sound errors are really more so because we don't have a very correct sound card. Yeah, sound effects don't work. So, you're not going to be able to get any hints on what words need to be spelled. At least under 98 and XP with 98 compatibility mode, I'm pretty sure you can at least get those sound effects working. But you're probably going to run into even more errors. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, that's enough of games that I have burned on discs. I'm going to do Need for Speed first. I think that's the most demanding game out of all of these. And this is the one where I don't really expect a playable result. I mean, the menus are running fine. I do not want to create a new alias. Oh yeah, the menus are dropping down to 24 FPS or so. Very cinematic, at least. Could try 1024 by 768. Yeah, I should probably mute that in case we run into copyright problems. But we're getting a bit under 30 FPS here. Okay, it's more like 30 in the tunnel. I do wonder what happens if we try to do 1024 by 768 in-game. I mean, the menus already weren't looking too good, but this is looking better than some parts of the menu. Clarify, some parts of the menu. Oh. That's not great. Out of all the games I'm testing, this is probably the only one that would have been, like, new when this computer was released. I think it came out towards the end of 05. Now let's try 1024 by 768. And we're getting less than 20 FPS. No, the input lag is just not having it. This is definitely not what you want for a racing game. Also, it doesn't help that I'm not exactly all that good at Need for Speed. I'd say I'm rather decent at Mario Kart, but Need for Speed and other racing games, they're not exactly my bread and butter. Hey, even with this rather low frame rate of 13 FPS, I was able to pass Zeppelin rather easily. Only for him to pass me. Okay, at least this is a consistently not so great 13 FPS. Well, 12 in this case, but... Oh, and even down to 10. But, yeah, still. For this game, definitely stick to 640 by 480 and lower settings if you can do that. I mean, we're already at rather low detail as is. We got 2 more games to test. We got Sonic Heroes and Halo, although I think I might need to get the no CD patch for Sonic Heroes. The internal name for the Windows version is tsonic_win. I'm going to run this at 1024 by 768. Oh, come on, dude. I just gave you the patched exe file. Fine, I'll put in the ISO image. That'd be Sonic Heroes Disc 2. Continue without saving.
Let's blast through with Sonic speed!
The models look a little stretched out at 1024 by 768. Okay, at least I was able to skip that cutscene. Well, we're getting over 30 FPS, but this feels rather slow for a Sonic game. And I can assure you, Heroes is not this slow.
When you lose a life, you restart from the last checkpoint you touched. The leader's level increases too. Yes!
Still not one of the better Adventure era games, but it's not this slow normally. I used to play the demo version on the Mario Kart Double Dash demo disc all the time back when I was like 9 or so. Oh, yeah, it is definitely not that slow. Okay, it's the X button that acts as attack. I mean, what I've noticed with these Adventure-era Sonic games, at least their PC ports, is that if they're running slow, then the actual game speed is rather slow, and it's not lagging or anything. Or at least it doesn't look like it's obviously lagging. Even then, this should not be what 40 FPS is like on Sonic Heroes. Like, I'm pretty sure 30 FPS in Sonic Adventure 1 is a better experience than this. And I think that'd be rather clear because the original Dreamcast version ran at 30 FPS. And that's already not one of the better versions of Sonic Adventure 1. Maybe 800 by 600 will be a little more forgiving. Sonic's animation looked a bit faster in the loading menu. Okay, now we're in the 40s to high 50s. It's Still slower than how the game should be, but it's better than 1024 by 768.
I take care of this.
It's a little bit more like how I remember, but with how this game works, you probably want to stick to 640 by 480. Oh yeah, that was slower than it should have been. There we go, now we're in the high 50s to 60 FPS. Oh, that's a lot more like it. Oh, even here it's starting to feel a little on the slow side. This is at 640 by 480 now.
Rock on, Knuckles. They never give up, do they? Yes.
Even at 640 by 480, this isn't quite the smoothest experience. I mean, it's definitely better than it was at 1024 by 768 and even 800 by 600. Oh, 37. Yeah, it really does start feeling slow. Below, like, 50.
Not bad.
Oh. Yeah, that's not great. Even at 35, that felt... I think that started to feel more laggy than it did slow. But the two really go, like, hand in hand. Okay, I think that's enough of Sonic Heroes. Okay, and last but certainly not least is Halo. I'm pretty sure I installed the no CD crack. Yes, I did. Oh, okay. I just have to press escape to skip those cutscenes. Okay, it defaults to 800 by 600. Refresh rate is 60 hertz. Wait, does this monitor do 75 hertz? I don't think I've ever done 75 hertz with this monitor. Only ever 60, because I never really cared to bump it up. Yeah, it can do 75. Let's leave the frame rate capped at 30 FPS, and then if we have performance problems, then we can knock it down. Oh, that's an eMachine's desktop that they're demoing here.
Tube shows green. Cycle complete.
I think we're in engine now.
Sorry for the quick thaw, Master Chief. Please look around the room. I need to get a calibration reading for your battlesuit's diagnostics. Good. Thank you, sir. No freezer burn. Okay, sir. Go ahead and climb out of the cryo tube. I gave you a double dose of the wake-up stim. Take a quick walk around the cryo bay and join me at the optical diagnostic station when you're ready.
Okay, it's looking a little better here. We're not going to get past 30 FPS because we have the frame rate limit set, but it's a good thing that I have the limit set, so that way at least it can be consistently under 30 FPS and not spike up any more than that.
Sir, I'm getting some calibration errors. I'm going to invert your looking pitch so you can see if you like it better that way. I'm ready for the energy shield test now.
Please follow me to the energy shield test station.
All right. Shields read as fully charged. Recharging normally. We're showing green across the board.
Bridge to Cryo 2, this is Captain Key. Send the Master Chief to the bridge immediately.
Captain, we'll have to skip the weapons diagnostics and
On the double, crewman.
Aye, aye, sir.
I just have to reset the computer and I'm out of here. Look out. They're trying to get through the door. Security! Intruders in Cryo 2! Please don't!
Sam! Sam! Come on, we've got to get the hell out of here.
Oh,
Alert, all hands. Boarding parties on port decks 4, 7, and 12. Baker's
this is just a tutorial, so we probably want to be running this at a lower resolution. Wait, did that knock itself down to 800 by 600? Performance is looking a bit better at 640 by 480, but even then I can't imagine it's by that much. We really want to be sticking... Oh. Did that really turn down to 640 by 480? Let me check that. Because the mouse feels equally laggy as it did, and I think... No, it's still 800 by 600. I guess my video settings just don't want to change. Yeah, I'm really not good at Halo, could you tell?
port decks 3 and 9. Alpha 2.
But Halo isn't that good of an experience on here, as expected. I'm not even gonna bother trying an online match, because that's really where you don't want to have any input lag. I mean, it's already not great in the main campaign as is, but online, yeah, no, you're really not going to be having a good experience with that. Well, I've tested enough games on here, but yeah, you saw it on the desktop. I got Bonzi Buddy installed on here.
Well, hello there. I don't believe we've been properly introduced. I'm Fonzie. What is your name? Nice to meet you, Azusa.
It's pronounced
Since the
Azusa.
first time we have met, I'd like to tell you a little about myself. I'm your friend and Fonzie buddy. I have the ability to learn from you. The more we browse, search, and travel the internet together, the smarter I'll become. Not that I'm not already smart. Because the internet can feel like a jungle at times, I can help you find what you are looking for, and even make
Yeah, Azunyan would be
suggestions as to where
33
you should go
in
to
the
find
real
it.
world these days.
The more time we
Her
spend
birthday is
together,
the 11th of
closer
November,
we'll become.
1992.
Particularly as your purple gorilla.
Alright, Bonzi, where'd you get that hat?
Now how I came to get this hat is very strange and funny. Grandfather died and left to me his property and money, and when the will was read, they told me straight and flat, if I would have his money, I must always wear his hat. Where did you get that hat? Where did you get that tie? Oh, trick the light fantastic on the sidewalks of New York. That's where Johnny K. C. Little Jimmy Crow, J.P. Cross the Big Crow.
Jimmy Crow? Oh no. I really hope Bonzi Buddy was never in support of Jim Crow laws.
Okay, if you're sure. What did the beaver say to the tree?
Hot damn?
It's been nice knowing you. That one makes me giggle in my sleep.
Alright, do you have another joke for me that I can at least
Okay,
try to
here
guess?
goes. A dime and a nickel were on the table. The nickel fell off. Why didn't the dime?
Got nickel and dimes?
It had more sense.
Okay, I don't know how I didn't think of that one.
Next time, don't be afraid to laugh, Azusa.
Tell me an amazing fact.
What an interesting article. Did you know that lightning strikes about 6,000 times per minute on this planet? Look out. We just keep getting smarter every day, Azusa. Great. I really enjoy reading with you, Azusa.
Guess Bonzi Buddy's storybook reader doesn't work. Well, it exists, but there's really nothing that can be done here. And Bonzi will just keep moving around as long as I move the window. Whoa!
It hurts me to say goodbye, Azusa.
Wait, no, that's not enough of that. We gotta run Desktop Destroyer, because what is classic Windows without Desktop Destroyer? There's a bit of skipping there. Yeah, let him launch away. Alright. I think we've destroyed Hitomi enough. I'm gonna open...
No, try again.
Okay, I guess CPU-Z 2.17 no longer works on Windows 2000. But I was gonna open CPU-Z, but I guess we can't do that anymore. I'm gonna install 3D Mark 2001 SC and 3D Mark 03 so I can get benchmark numbers for the X300. Or, not the X300, but the Xpress 200, which is really just the integrated graphics version of the X300. Okay, I've never gotten that error before. I've had 3D Mark 2001 SE installed just fine on Windows 2000 before. Actually, no, this is 3D Mark 03, but even then I've had it installed just fine. I think even on 98. Although maybe it didn't self-register because I have this connected online. Then again, it's not supposed to self-register. These are nearly 25-year-old products. Okay, 1024 by 768. I think that's default for 3D Mark 2001 SE. And that's perfect because that's the resolution of this monitor. I'm going to run the benchmark. This is a DirectX 8 benchmark at that. 3D Mark 03 is for DirectX 9. But this first section is doing pretty good for integrated graphics. Although at high detail, I can't imagine it's going to do that well. Still doing better than I'd expect there. Okay, this is the nature test. This is one of the more demanding ones. Just as I expected. Not a very good frame rate. It does look very pretty, though. Is the Dragon Carousel getting 11 FPS? And this Dragon Carousel is only getting 5 FPS. Okay, this test is looking pretty good at least. Okay, we got a score of 4371 3D marks. And I'm going to run 3D Mark 03. Error occurred while initializing future mark system info? What? Okay, so I guess we're not running 3D Mark 03 then. That's lame. But also, it's my time to run Cinebench. I was able to get R11.5 working in Windows 2000 with the extended kernel, but that's probably not going to work without the extended kernel.
No, try again.
Well, I'll be damned. It at least launched. Let's run all the selected tests. Okay, so we can't do OpenGL. We can uncheck those and run just the CPU tests. And I'll test the other Cinebench versions as well. That took quite a while. For our CPU multi-core score, we got 0.90 points, which would be like a fifth of the performance of the i7-860, which the i7-860 being the lowest CPU in this chart is rather generous. I mean, most people back then probably would have been using Core 2 Duos if their computer was relatively recent. And for single core, we got 0.46 points. It's a bit more than half of that of the Opteron 2435, but still under half of that of the i7-960. So let's save those scores, except we can't even save those. Hopefully I can get better results out of R10. Yeah, R10 is still old enough to where multiple cores are still seen as multiple individual processors here. I'm going to start all the tests here. Okay, and here's our Cinebench R10 scores. 204 for the graphics in OpenGL, 1637 for single CPU, and 3157 for dual CPUs, or dual cores in this case. Multiprocessor speedup is 1.93 times. Start all tests. Okay, the Cinebench 9.5 test completed quite a bit faster. For graphics, C4D shading got 315, OpenGL software got 738, and OpenGL hardware got 435, and a 2.34 times speedup with OpenGL. With one CPU, we got a score of 293, and two CPUs, we got a score of 552, with a multiprocessor speedup of 1.88 times. Last but not least, we're going to run Cinebench 2003. This one should be done the quickest. And this came out before any dual-core processors. I think really the only thing for consumers that had more than one thread when this came out was a couple of Pentium 4s that had hyper-threading. Here's Cinebench 2003 scores. 326 for C4D shading, 769 for OpenGL software, and 389 for OpenGL hardware, with a OpenGL speedup of 2.36 times. And for CPU, 282 for a single CPU and 523 for two CPUs, with a multiprocessor speedup of 1.85 times. I'll launch the SpongeBob screen toy for now, just for fun. SpongeBob follows our cursor, or he's called down here Bob. I think Patrick follows SpongeBob rather slowly, and Squidward moves away from your mouse pointer. Like, you can try to get your mouse pointer all you want on Squidward, but he's just going to dodge it. Whereas you can at least get it onto SpongeBob and Patrick. That's a cute little screen toy from back in the day. Just went and deleted some ISO files because I want to make a backup image of this install, because it's a rather good install, at least with what I have put on here, although some things don't want to work for some reason. Anyway, that's going to be it for Windows 2000, at least for now. And we're going to come back to it later once we install the upgraded GPU. I added a few more options to my Windows Deployment Services server, but for now I'm just going to boot into Macrim Reflect. Windows 2000 image has been finished. I did way more in Windows 2000 than I was expecting, so I think I'm going to end this part here. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this part, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.